Welcome to the world of science. Today we are going to learn environmental management chapter number 9 of standard 9 science 2. This is the second lecture of this chapter. Myself Kavita Kobarne from Gokhale Education Society's HN High School is going to present this to all of you. First, we will understand what is waste. Waste is defined as an unwanted or unusable substance that is discarded after primary use. They are generated from human and the animal activities. Urbanization and rapid advancements in industrialization has led to an increase in production and consumption processes, resulting in the generation of waste. Once the waste is produced, the waste has to be management. So this solid waste management is a big problem for us because it is creating a soil pollution. Solid waste is that material which arises from various human activities and which is normally discarded as useless or unwanted. It is responsible for land pollution or the soil pollution in urban and industrial areas. So this we have to stop and we have to do the management. So that is what the solid waste management it is. The flow chart shows how the solid management has to be done. First of all, we should do the collection of all types of waste. Then it has to be transported. It has to be taken out from the city or the area where the people are staying, and after that it has to be properly disposed of. It has to be segregated, and according to the need or according to the recycling method, these substances should be recycled, or if it is in use, it has to be reused again. So like this we can do the solid waste management. That is a basic of solid waste management. Now we will see different type of waste which arises in our area. The first type is the domestic waste. Waste food, paper, plastic bags, vegetable waste, fruit skins, glass and sheet metal articles, they all comes in the domestic waste which is arising in our houses. The next one is the industrial waste. From the industries, the chemicals, the pigments, sludges, ash, metals, etc. is coming out as a waste. Along with that, next one is the hazardous waste, that is dangerous. Chemical generated in various industries, radioactive materials, explosives, infectious materials, etc. comes in hazardous waste. Next one is farm or the garden waste. Leaves, flowers, branches of trees, crop residue like straw, animal urine and dung, pesticides, remains of various chemicals and fertilizers, etc. come in the garden waste. Next one is the electronic waste. Non-functional TV sets, cell phones, music system, computers and their parts or etc. in electronic waste. Nowadays, many of the new models of phones are coming. So instead of using the old one, people prefer to purchase the new one. So the old one will also come in the electronic waste. After this, it comes the biomedical waste. Biomedical waste means the waste which is coming out from the hospitals. That is the bandages, dressings, gloves, needles, saline bottles, medicines, machines, okay, and medicine bottles, test tubes, body parts also, blood, etc. From clinics it is coming out, and from the blood banks also the blood, and from the laboratories the instrument or the syringes, like this all the biomedical waste it is coming out. Urban waste. Urban waste it is generated from the large industries, household industries, then the vegetable markets, meat market, construction waste, all these things comes in the urban waste. Next one is the radioactive waste. It is also coming out from the atomic energy plants and that mines, atomic research centers, nuclear weapon testing sites. From this the different types of radioactive materials like the strontium 10, cerium 141, barium 140 and heavy water is given out, and that is counted in radioactive waste. Next one is the mining waste. Remains of heavy metals like lead, arsenic, cadmium, etc. from mines, it comes in mining waste. Like these different types of wastes are generated in our society through different medium, through the industries, through the house, through the factories. Like this it is there. So these different types of waste has to be managed properly. For that, solid waste management techniques has to be used. Now we will see the different types of waste. Actually, the waste is classified into two categories, that is biodegradable and non-biodegradable waste. Biodegradable waste, this type of waste is easily degraded by microbes, means it is which we can say easily eaten up by the microbes, and it can be converted into again the nutrients of the soil. Now it includes what? It includes all the kitchen waste, then the cow dung, animal dung, means the remains of the plants and the waste from the plants, it comes in that. This is totally organic type of waste. So that's why it is called as a wet solid waste or a wet garbage. It has to be carefully decomposed. If you decompose this biodegradable waste carefully, then we can get an excellent quality of manure from that. Non-biodegradable waste, this type of waste is not easily get degraded, means it cannot be easily converted into simple substances by any of the microorganisms. It requires very long period of time to get converted into simple one, and also it requires different types of techniques. It includes plastic, metal and other similar materials. This type of waste is called as a dry or a solid waste, dry solid waste or dry garbage. This waste is really creating a nuisance in our society, in our environment. This we have to manage it. Otherwise, in future, our environment will be totally polluted and we will not get any chance to repair it, because natural method is not used to degrade all these materials. So we have to find out some of the ways to recycle it or to reuse it or to minimize the use of this type of waste or this type of materials. Now we will see harmful effects of solid waste in our environment. First one is effect on biodiversity. So the variety in our environment is affected by this waste. Second, bad odor of the waste. It is not decaying very fast, so it is giving out very bad odor. Next one is production of the toxic gases. So it is a slow process, though it is a biodegradable or non-biodegradable, but it is a slow process of decaying all this, so it produces the toxic gases. Next one is degradation of natural beauty. So air, water, here next one is air pollution, water pollution, soil pollution. If they get spoiled, then our natural beauty will also be get spoiled. And if this all these things are spoiled, the germs or the insects will grow in fast, and that will be the cause of spreading the diseases in our society, in our environment. So like this, indirectly or directly, this harmful effect, solid waste is harmful for human beings, plants, animals and to the nature also. To get rid of this harmful effect, solid management is very necessary. First one is for preventing environmental pollution and to keep surrounding clean. Second, for energy as well as fertilizer production, and through though that to generate work and employment opportunities. Third, to reduce the strain on natural resources through treatment of solid waste. Fourth one, to improve health and quality of life and to maintain environmental balances. So for that, the solid management is very necessary. Now it's the need of R to implement the solid waste management practices. What for it is done? It has to be done to maintain clean environment. Second one, it should be done to implement measures like increasing the efficiency of production processes so that minimum waste will be generated. So production, in that all the substance should be used up and less waste has to be created one. So that technique we have to use it. Proper management of garbage should be done. Proper recycling and reuse of waste material has to be done. Now we will see the scientific and eco-friendly waste management techniques. First one is of biomedical waste management. Biomedical waste, it cannot be dumped up, because the chances are there the animals, they can just dig up the ground and they can just take away the things which is just buried in the soil. So instead of burying the biomedical waste, it has to be incineration. Incineration means it has to be burn it out totally and it has to be converted into ash. And this ash is buried under the soil. So that is how the biomedical waste management has to be done instead of throwing here and there. Second one is separation and categorization of waste. Whatever the waste we have collected, it has to be properly segregated, which can be reused, which can be recycled. Next one is composting. We have to segregate into biodegradable and non-biodegradable substances. As we saw, biodegradable substances, we can just bury it into the soil and we can get of compost from it. Then if the waste is not biodegradable, not recycled, then that has to be used as a safe landfill sites. Wherever the big pots are there, big pits are there, in that it has to be done. Then vermicomposting, that is by using the earthworm to convert the biodegradable substances into excellent manure, that is called as a vermicomposting. Industrial solid waste management, that is landfill method. So where the big hills has to be covered up, layered up, and the level has to be increased, there the industrial solid waste has to be collected and there it can be used. Next one is the pyrolysis, that is energy production by burning of waste at high temperature, that is biogas or bioelectricity. So like this we can use the scientific and eco-friendly methods for the proper waste management. For proper solid waste management, we can use 7 principles. They are called as the 7 R's. The first R means reuse. After use, material should be reused for some other proper purposes. Example, we can take a newspaper. Newspaper, once you have used up, read it out, you can just make articles out of it, which is decorative, or it can be of any purpose also. Next one is refusal to use articles made from non-degradable articles like plastic and thermocol. So nowadays you know that the Chinese items are banned, so that is what the plastic articles and thermocols for decorative purpose of low grade plastic it is actually, so that we can refuse it, and instead of that we can just make a decorative articles with the help of our biodegradable substances. Instead of thermal for decoration purpose, you can use any other card sheet or something like that, which can be degradable. Next one is recycling. Production of useful articles by recycling solid waste. For example, paper and glass can be recycled. So prefer to use the substances made up of glass or paper. Next is rethink. Rethinking our habits, activities and their consequences in connection with the use of various articles of daily use. You have to think many of the things we are just using it and they are very bad habit, it is creating a pollution also. So instead of that, just example I can say the tissue papers. Actually instead of tissue papers, if you have the cloth at your home, you can use it over there, so it will not harm the society. So like this is a small thing, but like this many of the activities are there has to be rethinked over it. Next one is reduce. Restriction the use of resources to avoid wear wastage. Old materials should be reused. One thing should be shared by many. Use and throw type of object should be avoided. In that you are using the 2 rupees pen, so instead of that if you will use ink pen, that will be convenient for us. And one thing should be shared by many, so books which you are having it, you can share it with your friends also, and it has to be reused. Suppose your old books of your brother and sister, it has to be continued to be used by you next year after your elder brothers and sister. So like this we can reduce the use of resources. Next is research. Conducting research related to reuse of materials that are temporarily out of use. Suppose you are using the cans for drinking the juices, or some bottles which we are using, that drinking bottle we are getting it, or use and throw type of it. So some research has to be done which can be so that we can reuse these things again and again. Regulation and public awareness. Follow the laws and rules related to waste management and motivating others to do the same. So it is recommended by the government not to use the plastic bags. It is increasing pollution. Okay, now you have saw the flood which is just creating a nuisance. So all these things we know. So instead of using a plastic bags, it is convenient to use a paper bag, or you can use a cloth bag. But instead of that, we are just feeling ashamed of it and we are using a big bags. Okay, so it is creating a pollution. So that public awareness has to be developed among the people. We will see some of the period for the degradation of some of the waste materials on one side, and the period required for degradation is given to us. The first one is banana peel. It will take 3 to 4 weeks to degrade. Cloth bags, it will take 1 month. Rags, it will take 5 months. Woolen socks, 1 year. Wood, 10 to 15 years. Leather shoes, 40 to 50 years. Tin cans, 50 to 100 years. Aluminium cans, 200 to 250 years. Certain plastic bags, 10 lakh years. Thermocol and styrofoam that is taking infinite duration for just degrading. So from this we can understand that which substance has to be used and which has to be avoided. Proper disposal, we need to divide it into properly into wet garbage and dry garbage. Now this garbage collector, they are collecting all these things. So if you will separate it out properly, so it will be convenient for them to collect it out, transport it, and they can be recycled, they can be used up over there. So less work will be done in just segregating the dry waste and wet waste. We have to do the disaster management also. For that we should know first the disaster, natural disasters and man-made disasters. Natural disasters means thunderbolts, that is lightning, flood, fire, and man-made means the disasters like the accidents, bomb explosion, chemical accidents in industries, stampedes in mass gatherings, riots, etc. So these all comes in man-made disaster. Disasters cause large scale damage to life and property. The people get affected and they are the victims. We have to provide the first aid. So the main objective of providing first aid is to prevention of death, preventing deterioration of health, and starting the process of rehabilitation. Disaster management means action implemented through proper planning, organized activity, and coordination. It includes following. First one, prevention of losses and danger. Second one, improving the tolerance. Third one, providing relief from disaster, minimizing intensity and extent of harm. Fourth one, preparation to face disaster, immediate action in the disaster situation, assessment of damages and intensity of disaster, arranging for rescue work and help, and last, rehabilitation and rebuilding. That is what is done under the disaster management association or action, we can say. Now we will see basic principles of first aid, that is A, B, C. If you find any victim, then what we have to do, that we have to do. First one is we have to check the airway, that is airway clear of that object. Object means human being, and is airway open. If victim has difficulty breathing, then head should be held in a backward sloping position, or in the chin should be raised so that respiratory passage should remain open. Second one, you have to check the breathing. Is chest rising and falling? Can you hear victim's breathing? Can you feel breathe on your cheek? If breathing has stopped, the victim should be given artificial ventilation by mouth to mouth resuscitation. After that, check for circulation. Can you feel a pulse? Can you see any obvious signs of life? If victim is unconscious, then after giving mouth to mouth respiration twice, the heart should be pressed down hard by pressing the chest with both the palms. These two actions should be repeated alternately after 15 minutes. This is called as a cardiopulmonary resuscitation. This is CPR. It helps to bring circulation back to normal. If victim is injured and bleeding through the wound, then the wound should be covered with an antiseptic pad and pressure applied on it for 5 minutes with either thumb or palm. The blood gets thicker after bleeding for a few minutes. This is called clotting. Clotting slows down bleeding. Bandaging is done to stop bleeding and to stop dirt infecting the wound. Change the bandage at least once a day, and tetanus injection should be given or taken if required by the victim. For injuries like sprains, twisting, and contusion, the RICE remedy should be applied. RICE means RICE. R first step, I second step, C third one, E fourth one. Now see in the picture, you can see here all the 4 steps are shown to you. First one are, that is rest. Support the injured part in a comfortable position, that is step 1. Step 2 is ice. Use an ice pack to reduce pain and swelling every 3 hours. Step 3, compression. Wrap the injured area with elastic bandage. Step 4, that is E, elevation. Keep injured part elevated to limit swelling and bruising. So by using that rice method, you can get little bit of comfort to the person who get a fracture or a sprain or a twisting or a contusion. Thank you for watching the video. Stay safe, stay home. Goodbye to all.